newsletter. So I got to writing and I really dug into a question that I also want to share with you. So the newsletter will come out on Saturday, but this question is one that I find to be unlocked all the growth for me. And it's now something that all my clients, I go through it very consistently with them because growth is what we all desire. There's something inside you that is destined for growth. You weren't created to just be where you are. Scripture says that we're going from glory to glory and faith to faith. Jesus gives an example on stewardship, on giving talents that were given to three individuals. And the one that didn't grow, it was taken from them and given to the one that did grow. Growth is built in our DNA. Built is our DNA. Built is everything. The growth is everything inside of us. And so I want to give you this question. And I really want you to not just hear the question and be, you may have heard this question before. I'm not trying to pretend like this is something you've never heard before. But what I am asking you to do is to look at it differently. I'm asking you to maybe take a little extra time in the next few days or over the weekend to sit with this question. And when you do sit with this question, it's not just in one category of your life, but I believe this question will impact every area of your life. Because when I started to look at this question, and I ask myself this question every single day, and I tell a story in my newsletter, and I'll share it quickly with you, that there was an individual that called me the other day, a prospect, and they were telling me how great everything was in their life, how their business was working out well, and these things were going well, and these things were going well. And as we got into the conversation, it became apparent that there were things that were not going well. I had to ask a few other questions, but what it looked like was very similar to probably every one of us of what we see on social media. We see the perfection, right? But as I dug deeper into this individual's story, I realized that what looked like this incredible, beautiful mansion of Beverly Hills on the outside, what his life looked like, what he wanted everybody to look like, was so beautiful. It was pristine. It was perfect. It's like the hedges were immaculate and the driveway was beautiful and the house was white and the sun was shining and the backyard was incredible. And there was you could imagine what the house was like. And that's what this individual's house life looked like on the outside. But here's the real thing of where it was as we dug in deeper, there was cracks in the foundation. And these cracks were not little cracks. See, these cracks were really, really big cracks. And I'm going to tell you that when you get into these cracks that are really, really big, those cracks will ultimately shake the house. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if you've ever had cracks in your foundation for your home, it's a lot of work. And when the home is really big and the cracks in the foundation are in there, it's very expensive. And so as I was having this conversation with this individual, we started to identify the cracks. And here's the question that I asked them. Here's the question that I'm going to ask you. And this is the question that I want you to sit with, not just now, but I pray and I beg and I plead with you to sit with the Lord on this question for the next 3 to 5 days in multiple areas of life. And here's the question. What's the hardest thing that you need to do right now in this situation? What's the hardest thing that you need to do in your business? What's the hardest thing that you need to do in your personal life? There's some of you that, you know what the hardest thing to do is? You actually need to go work out, or you need to stop eating food, or you need to stop eating sugar. Maybe one of the hardest things for you to do in your business is to make that extra phone call. Maybe part of what you need to do in your business is to invest money into your business, invest finances into your business. Take that down. What about your marriage? What do you need to do in your marriage that's the hardest thing for you to do? I know so many individuals when I talk to them that they avoid sitting down and having hard conversations with their spouse. They avoid, doing and investing money in the most important relationship in their life, in their marriage. And because of that, ultimately, those are the cracks in the foundation a lot of times. And I'm telling you, those cracks are very expensive. I wish I knew then what I knew now. Do the hard things. Invest now. Invest in the things that you need to do and invest in, okay? The other thing that I want to say is take this into your children. If you have children, what's the hardest thing that you need to do with your children? What's the hardest? What requires the most effort? And I'm going to give you one other thing here just in a moment that is going to be a little bit of a twist on this. But many times we think working harder, the hardest thing is to work harder. That's not necessarily the best thing for you to do. I'm gonna twist that thought right now, because a lot of times, if you're like me, if you're a leader, you're driven, type A, those types, you're hardworking. Sometimes you feel like the hardest thing is just do more and do more and do more. When actually that's probably the easiest thing for you to do, is to do more. You have a very good understanding of doing more. But I wanna challenge you with this idea, because this is something that I failed with a lot. What if in that situation you need to trust the Lord? What if you need to take a step back? What if instead of doing more, what's the hardest thing for you to do? Sometimes it's sitting and taking time with the Lord. Lord, what do I need to see in this situation? What am I missing? What would be the ultimate thing that I need to do? Be still and know. Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I'm the Lord." But it's not just knowing the Lord and having stillness and meditating, and it's knowing that that scripture is actually saying the Lord is fighting your battle. The Lord has this handled for you. Sometimes that's the hardest thing. So I want to just put that your way. What is the hardest thing for you to do in your faith, in your finances, in your family, in your fitness, in your marriage? Hello. In your relationships? Hello. In your mindset? Hello. What's the hardest thing for you to do? Is the hardest thing to believe the best about the situation? What about your mouth? What's the hardest thing for you to do in your mouth? Maybe it's speaking good words. Maybe it's encouraging another person. What's the hardest thing? And I tell you, and I guarantee you, if you do those things that are the hardest thing, you'll transform faster than you ever have before. God bless you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.